was an hour.
I'm going back to the disc golf answer that page.
Okay, I got fan page covered.
Let's see. Now, if we go back to live control room, then we'll go back to. Oop! It still says starting live, starting live, starting live. There we go. Now we're back.
Take two.
Stream status bad. You're receiving video data at a fast enough rate. Your viewers may experience buffering.
Buff.
You gotta kill the audio from the camera.
Huh? Oh, audio came back again. Boom, boom. Turn it back up. We're gonna redo this. All right. Did it die in the middle of that question?
Yeah, I think he was in the middle of talking about the.
Yeah.
All right. So
I was basically wrapping up.
Right.
Okay.
I can say something about that as well, though.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Hold on. Let me do this.
And it's a good way to stay in shape. Hey, did you change the thumbnail?
Yes.
Look at you.
Was it the French Canadians? We declaring war? Yes.
All right. We're back to the split screen. We are good to go.
All right. Make sure and start the audio again.
I thought I did. Oh, the actual audio.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna actually, everybody on YouTube, and you guys take your headphones off. Cover your ears on YouTube. All right.
Clap.
So go ahead and
See,
so
that's how they thin out the posers.
so on the audio, this is going to be kind of a weird edit,
No,
but
that's not true. Johnny V's still here.
We are continuing. So you were talking about pros and why
Yes.
they don't like to play with the commoners.
The commoners. I don't think that's exactly how I said it, but
the poppers.
yes.
The poppers. The poppers.
But yeah, basically it just boils down to always being on, so to speak, and just wanting to get through a quick round of golf and kind of move on, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's not everyone's like that, and I'm not like that by all means, but every now and then I love enjoying. I do enjoy. I do enjoy playing around with a casual, a local.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a new course I've never played before. Like when we drove through and played Harmony Vins, on our way out to New York, I would have loved to have a local there to play with because on numerous occasions we threw to the wrong basket.
Yeah.
So, and that sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
All right, here it is. I'm going to keep it real.
Uh-oh.
So when it comes to, like Bobby said, when it comes to hometowns and playing with people when they're at, like living at home, I've gone and played with a lot of people here in town. I know Eric has. I know Bobby has. Sometimes it just doesn't work for us, and that's just because of the schedule that we have. Sometimes we just are not able to do it. But when it comes to the touring professionals and when they're coming through your town and you offer to play around with them, sometimes one of the reasons that I think touring pros don't play rounds with not touring players is because of the speed of play. That kind of goes along with what Eric was saying. They know that if they go play with the touring pro, they're all going to kind of be finding the same spots in the fairway, kind of be throwing the same lines. And if they don't, sometimes they'll be, looking for discs or waiting for players to play a little bit slower. And that's not necessarily bad if they're not preparing for a tournament. But if they are preparing for a tournament, every practice day is really important to them. And so I would say that may be one reason that they didn't want, that they might not want to play a casual round or a practice round with a lot of other people. Having a local guide, I think, is usually pretty fun. I've enjoyed that whenever I've done it. But that's maybe one of the reasons I think they might not want to play with casual players quite as much.
Excellent. All right, let's move on to our speak pipe, which actually, hold on. I was just not prepared for this episode.
It's because it's Wednesday.
Well, I went to lunch a little early, knowing that we were going to do this.
Yep.
And then I came back and I started working on I was working on the GBO mobile app and just got wrapped up. I thought I'll just do this for a quick 10 minutes.
RIP listeners.
Do what? Oh yeah, take your headphones off. Get ready, YouTubers.
America.
There we go. Okay, we see it. And I just completely lost track of time. So anyway, I apologize to everybody. You would think that 2019, the first episode, would be on spot, but no.
New Year, same me.
Happy New Year's. There you go. All right, let's hope this works.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Get ready. This is from Herman.
On DGM, I was wondering if you had any tips for throwing a really straight shot. The problem I always face is I either turn the shot over too much or it hyzes out early. Instead, I throw my mid-range to get that straightness. However, then I don't get the distance that I want or need for the throw. So, what do you do when you're faced with a long, straight shot?
There you go.
Okay, so the faster that a disc spins, or I guess the faster a disc is, I think the harder it is to keep it straight for a longer period of time.
Correct.
So it is always going to be easier to throw a putter straight than it is a mid-range. It's always going to be easier to throw a mid-range straight than it is a fairway, and so on and so forth. So, but it is possible to throw a fairway driver very, very straight. It is possible to throw a distance driver very, very straight. It's just a matter of making sure that you're not getting that off-axis torque on the beginning of the flight, and that you're not throwing it slightly nose up, because that's going to kill any chance you have of the disc flying straight for a longer period of time before it dives out early. Same thing as if you torque it just a little bit and it wobbles offline, it's likely going to turn over early in the flight. So it really needs to be a smooth release, and you need to make sure that your angle of reach back to hit to follow through are all matching and they're all flat. That's going to be your best shot at throwing something like that. You can, if hyzer flip is your preferred way of throwing, you can start something on a slight hyzer and flip that up to flat. That's how I like to throw really long straight shots. But that's just what works for me.
Correct. Also throw an EMAC Truth.
You're going to want that. I like
they go pretty straight.
Yes. I like Wardens for super straight shots also.
Next one is from
So does Danny.
Joseph. Hey guys, I'm pretty new to the sport. 1 year in, I'm really into the sport and I practice a lot.
Sweet.
Field work for drives once a week, putt 4 times a week, and 1 course day every week.
Okay.
1 course a day.
Yeah,
Or 1 course day. Like I go out to the course.
1 course day, yep.
a week, yeah.
I'm getting my drives out about 350 feet accurately.
Cool.
Solid.
In real life, and I hit most of my 25-foot and in putts. 25 feet.
Solid.
Pretty good.
And I really want to push myself and register as a pro. I want to play for a living in January 2019, but I have heard my share of naysaying from other people. Thoughts?
Have you played tournaments before?
I have not, no.
Okay.
Oh, him. I don't know.
All right.
Well, you haven't made it until you got haters, so.
Yeah, that's
Sounds
right.
like you've made it.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, if you have haters, that doesn't necessarily mean you made it. Maybe you just suck at the thing that you're trying to do.
Maybe you do deserve haters. I don't know.
maybe they're entirely warranted. Okay. My big question would be, have you played tournaments before? If you haven't, then saying that you are going to be a professional and play disc golf full time from the start, more than likely not going to work, right? Tournaments require experience, and the only way that you get that experience is by playing tournaments. You can play all the casual rounds you want to. You can throw all the field work and course days and everything like that, and it's entirely different than getting to play a tournament. So if this is something that you want to commit to, it sounds like you're doing a lot of the things that you should. But if you're trying to support yourself financially by playing disc golf, you're going to have a hard time. A very small percentage of the disc golf population is able to do that. Very, very few people, probably in the 30 to 50 range, who just only play disc golf for full time and can support themselves reasonably doing so.
Which is double
what it used to be,
like
right?
5-10 years ago. So,
I mean, look, if this is your goal, work hard at it. Do your thing, but know that it's not going to be as easy as wanting to do it, right? A lot of people want to do it. Very few people can actually accomplish that.
yeah, I would also pick and choose your battles as far as tournaments go.
Yeah.
If it's a big paying tournament, sure, go to some of those. But
Yeah.
if you have an option to go to something closer, maybe less top professionals there, so you can make a few extra bucks that week, do it.
Yeah, it's not a bad call.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I also will say, if you're throwing, what do you say, 320 accurately,
350 accurately,
350 accurately,
making
even
most
better,
of his putts,
and making most of your 25-foot putts and in,
Yeah.
you're going to do just fine. Just
Yeah,
keep that
you'll be all right.
confidence moving forward, and that's really a big key about being out on the road touring full time, is keeping that confidence. Because as soon as you start to lose a little confidence and start putting negative thoughts in your head, you're just asking for negativity and bad results. So stay positive is the main thing.
Yeah. One other thing to just kind of go along with that, 350 accurately is awesome. Especially if you're playing locally. That's really, really good. If you're trying to get to those bigger events where the top pros are, you need to know that you're probably going to be outdriven maybe 100 feet on most shots, golf lines, not just wide open, distant shots. Yeah. But those guys, I think, have pretty good command 450 and in on their golf shots. And so don't be surprised when they're landing a lot farther up the fairway than you are. That kind of goes along with Eric's suggestion of play some local events. Not as many top pros. I think you'll find yourself in a much better scoring situation. Yep. And then Chad on the board asked 30 to 50 individuals or percent of the pros. Chad, I'm saying 30 to 50 individual players, not percent of the pros. Good question.
Good question. Interestingly,
that is very interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Enough. I was watching Casey Neistat. I watch his thing every now and then. He had Tony Hawk on there.
Nice.
And he talked about Tony Hawk and his beginning as a skater and stuff like that. And it was interesting to hear how he talked about these skaters that were in magazines and people just followed them and they didn't make a living.
Yeah.
They didn't make a living off of it. In fact, he said a lot of skaters, as soon as they turned 18, they had to go get a real job because they couldn't support. They wanted more adult life and they couldn't support it. And so, they were asking, Tony Hawk, what was your thing? How did you survive and why are you here? And he just basically said, because I was just doing something I loved.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the money. He just did it because he loved doing it, and then he stuck with it. And of course, eventually it became a thing. And it made me think of kind of disc golf. It's like, you do it for the love of the sport. Of course, you need to make some kind of living but you got to set your expectations at a correct level.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, Tony Hawk's now a billionaire.
What's funny
is he really a billionaire?
I don't know if he's a billionaire.
They said something about investments and stuff that he's done. I don't know. Look up Tony Hawk's net worth.
It was funny you mentioned Tony Hawk because
I don't think he's a billionaire.
Maybe
because it was funny you mentioned Tony Hawk though, because I saw him tweet out the other day. It's been about a month or two now, but he tweeted out that he was at an airport going through security, and the officer took his ID and looked at it and said, "Tony Hawk, huh? Like the skateboarder. I wonder what that guy's doing nowadays." and Tony Hawk goes, "This."
This very thing.
Standing here.
His net worth is $120 million. So maybe they meant like stuff that he does. They said, I could have sworn they said
maybe stuff he does like as far as installing skate parks across the country, because I know he does a lot of fundraising for skate parks and putting new parks in and all that. So.
He's dreamed of having $1 billion.
Yes.
He's a billionaire.
$140 million.
You have 140. I saw. this is 2014. 120 million. So that's not. I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, either way, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Now, I want to circle back to this though. Tony Hawk wanted to do that, and he was doing something that he loved to do, but he was also insanely talented at that thing.
Oh, no doubt.
Right? So
now he had critics. He had
definitely.
He had skateboarders in his time that were
haters.
There were people who were like, they don't like your style, they don't like what he's trying to do.
Sure.
And stuff like that. So
totally. I'm just saying.
No doubt.
He's extremely talented.
But you still got to do, even if you're the skateboarder that makes $50,000 a year. You're not worth $120 million, but if you can make a decent living and you still get to do what you love to do,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
for sure.
That's my.
He also plays disc golf.
Sick.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel one night, and I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. It was a while back now, but he says, "What have you been up to?" He goes, "I've been playing a lot of frisbee golf." And I think it was Jimmy Kimmel says disc or frisbee golf, and kind of laughed at him, and he goes, "No, really, it's fun." So I thought it was.
Shut up, Jimmy.
That's kind of cool.
God.
So, all right. Anyway, next question is from Tom I.
Okay.
Tom I.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Tom, I've heard that in a reachback, you really aren't reaching at all. Rather, letting the disc in a spot and using your forward motion reach your arm back.
I don't understand.
I'm going to read it word for word. Here we go. I've heard that in a reach back, you really aren't reaching at all, rather letting the disc in a spot and using your forward motion reach your arm back.
So it sounds like he's saying technique. You just leave your disc there and then your body moves forward.
Yeah.
I actually reach back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do both. It's
same.
Yeah, both.
So I guess you heard wrong.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is maybe people rotate their body around the disc, kind of in the same spot of their flight, but or of their throw. I don't know. I think there is a physical reaching back of it for the people who do it.
The Earth's gravitational pull.
Yeah.
Work with it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Next one is from Jay. I'm 46 years old and just started playing 2 years ago. I consider myself a middle-of-the-road rec division player. Obviously, I'm old enough to play Masters, but I always think of this division as older players that have played for many years and have skills. As a middle-of-the-road rec player, would it be better to remain playing rec with younger players or play with people my own age that are likely veterans of the game and very good? Thank you, guys.
I wouldn't necessarily say that all players that play Masters. Masters is a bad word, I guess, for that group. Because when I think of Masters, I think, yeah, you've mastered the sport, you've moved on, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But that's not the case. And it's not really Masters anymore, I guess, is it? It's MP40 now is what it's called. So look at someone like Patrick Brown, who actually picked up the game late 30s, maybe even 40 when he first started playing.
Crazy.
So, and he's a very talented player. But no, I if you've got the game to play with the MP40s, do it. Or MA40s, whatever the case may be, whatever you're thinking about moving up to. But if you're playing rec now, I'm assuming you're talking about MA40? Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, that's Advanced Masters.
Yeah, I would move up and play Advanced Masters. Or, play both. See which one you like
Yeah,
better. See
try it out.
What group you like playing with better. Who knows?
Yeah.
Either one.
So some people on the board are saying that Simon had just talked about this, where he kind of leaves the disc in the same spot and then moves his body around it. He doesn't like physically reach it back. I haven't seen the video, so I can't really comment on what he's talking about, but I think that's what that guy is referencing. So Simon throws pretty far, so you should probably listen to what he says, but without us watching it, we can't say.
Or ask Simon to elaborate.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, send a question to his podcast.
He does have a video that he does a blog every week now.
Oh, he does? Okay,
it's pretty good. I enjoy it.
I'll back off, Simon.
Gosh, back off.
This one's from Jezer. What does it take to get a PDGA Major or Disc Golf Pro Tour to be played at your local course? I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, and the closest major event is Waco, which you should go to because we'll be there, and it's a really cool event. I could drive up there to watch, but I know Austin and San Antonio have some great courses that could host some major events. What could be done to get some love for Central Texas? Thanks, Three Musketeers.
All right. The bidding process for majors and national tours and everything is not just, hey, this is a good course, we should have an event here.
You mean if they don't have 18 Basics, you're just good to go? Right?
Yeah, if you have 13, that's the minimum.
Oh, 13.
Yeah. No, the bidding process is a lot more involved and requires having a tournament director, an experienced tournament director in place, an established event, and a tournament, like the promise of a tournament staff who can make something like that work. And so, yes, Austin has great courses. I loved playing there when I lived there. San Antonio has some pretty good courses as well. I like those. But if there's not someone there who's willing and able to run those and who can successfully submit a bid, they're not going to be put there.
No.
Since those areas don't have super well-established high-quality events, I know that there are some really long-running events, but a lot of times those are at courses that wouldn't be up to the standards of like a national tour, a major, or something like that.
I wish there was more tournaments in Austin.
I agree.
Because it is some great disc golf
Yeah,
down there.
well, Roy G would be a great tournament course for those guys. I think they would crush it and it would be awesome. But
so would Maynard.
Definitely. Super good course.
And there used to be, Texas State's was a pretty big event. It was a national tour event for a couple of years down at Maynard. And one thing I do know, it's not something that just happens overnight. So you kind of have to establish a tournament if you really want to do this down at Corpus Christi, which I've played down at Corpus Christi, and they have a pretty decent course down there that I enjoyed playing when I was there.
Is that Ingleside?
There's a couple. There's Ingleside. I think there's two at Ingleside now, and then there's a little 9-holer, and then there's another one up by the ocean or the Gulf of Mexico.
Cool.
But yeah, the Ingleside courses would be great for a tournament out there. There's the nice wooded one and then the more open one. You could definitely do something out there, but it doesn't happen overnight. You got to have a few years experience in running events, even if it just starts out as small B tiers before moving up to that pro tour. And I'm not sure how you get on the pro tour. I know that the pro tour this year is doing something new where they're doing test events at certain courses and events to see if it's, I don't know if it's to see if it's good enough to be a pro tour event or just to see how it kind of goes over. But yeah, start small, work your way up to those events, and keep working at it. It's really, I mean, it's like the glass blowing. It didn't just happen overnight.
Right.
I mean, the first year was very, very small.
If you want specifics, you can actually go to PDGA.com, go to events, and then go to major disc golf events. And if you scroll to the bottom, they actually has PDF forms where you can read bid specifics. Or if you want to go to discgolfprotour.com or dgpt.com,
DGPT.
look at the menu, navigation menu, and go to about venues. And he literally spells out 5 bullet points of some specifics to get your course to have a venue, and then you fill out a form to have them take a look. So
Nice. Happy New Year.
if you believe that your course can do it, then based on the specifics, I say go for it.
Do it.
Just know that there's a lot more to it than just having a decent course that you love playing.
Correct.
Next one is from Andy Dwyer. I've been watching Parks and Rec.
Dude. What a fantastic character. And Andy and April, and then their dog Champion. Come on.
I know, and I'm on like the final
greatness.
season, and it's getting sad because then it's like, it's so sad.
Johnny Karate's last episode, pretty sad.
Yeah. So, all right. Andy says, I've been playing for about a year, and I've always tried to keep things slow as I develop my form. Slow to the point that I've had card mates tell me that my run-up is too slow. I seem to have hit a plateau in terms of distance, maxing out at about 350.
Tree feeding.
He literally put 350.
I respect it.
Any attempt at speeding up my throw always leads to a misrelease. That happens to me too. Do you have any advice on speeding up my timing or getting more distance? Love what you guys do, so keep doing it.
Thank
Tree
you.
feeding. So he hits trees at 50 feet off the tee.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dang it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, one of the ways that we tell people to work on their form is by slowing it down, and I do think that's helpful.
Slow it down.
But there is certainly
watch out.
There's certainly a point at which
Got to take it slow.
it's too slow, right? To where it's just too slow. Like you can't get the power that you need out of something that's, slower than walking speed, right? So this is gonna sound like a crappy cop out answer, but you want to just speed it up incrementally, right? So this time think 10% faster and see what that feels like. And if you're still missing the release, then maybe you just stick with your 350, and that's not bad.
And work on accuracy.
Yes. 350 with accuracy is not bad.
What
And
would
remember
you say,
to cool it down.
What would you cool it now? What would you say? What would you say is more important for him to? Okay, so you got the two scenarios that you just described. Stay slow and work with your 350.
Yeah.
Or 10% incrementals. Which would you advise him the most? Because if he has misreleases, you can almost say, well,
Sure.
increase 10% and then work on your release.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, I think it doesn't. I don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive, right? If you speeding up, I'm sure it's a mental thing that's making him like when he takes a slightly faster couple of steps, it's like, oh well, I'm sure he's thinking, oh well, now I need to hold onto the disc a little longer, or I need to let go of it just a little bit earlier. Yeah. Instead, you want your body to naturally be doing what it's supposed to do. And if you're going really, really slow right now, it may be that you're not counting on your body to release the disc where it's supposed to. You are mentally thinking about letting the disc go, which you shouldn't.
It's about harnessing the energy, blocking the bad.
Yes, like block out the bad. You want the disc to naturally come out of your hand instead of you thinking about letting go of it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
So I don't know.
Just real quick, I looked over at Anthony is working on the something that we're super excited about. So make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube. YouTube watchers, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so that you know. And then listeners, if you are not subscribed, please do so. Get subscribed because we have our Did we do one recently? This will be the first one.
What?
The Dynamic Duel.
We've done dynamic duels before, but this is the first of like the new ones.
Right.
It's not out yet.
Right. We haven't released anything.
No, we have not.
Okay, so this will be the first and most recent dynamic duel, and this one has who is it again? Anthony?
Eric McCabe.
Eric and Paige versus Oakley and Isaiah.
Yep.
Yes. Eric Oakley, Isaiah Esquivel, and Eric McCabe and Paige Bjerkes.
Yep.
So that's going to be a good one.
It's a pretty good round. Paige Bjerkes and I did commentary on it just the other day, and they're throwing some pretty good shots.
Yeah,
doing some stuff.
some stuff. So
Yeah, pretty awesome.
good to see Isaiah on video though, because I know that kid's got some promise.
He's really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
that's all I'll say about it. You just need to watch the video and you'll see.
So, all right, next one comes from Luke. This is Speak Pipe. So let's see what Luke has to say.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man. This is Luke from Charleston, South Carolina. I've heard you guys talk multiple times about finding a mold which you can have in different stages of wear or different plastics to meet your shot need. And I was curious about how you go about finding that disc that's going to kind of be that that mainstay for you. Do you start with a new Lucid and find a disc that you can just barely get to stand up straight, or do you go with a Fusion that you've been throwing a while that you get a nice hyzer flip out of and build off from there? Or do you get a recommendation from a friend and then that you like and then just build off of that? Love the show and hope to hear from you guys soon. Keep it real.
Good question. I think most people who cycle discs start with overstable versions of them, right? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't make a lot of sense to start with several understable discs because they're only going to get more understable, really. So I think at least what I do is start with something like, if I'm cycling out enforcers, I'll start with a pretty overstable Lucid enforcer and kind of use that as the most stable that I'm going to carry, and then work in ones just below that. So pretty overstable but can fly a little bit would be kind of the next step, and then pretty straight, and then one that I can get to flip quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Very rarely will I put in a different plastic like a Fusion just to get that flight out of the disc. But I'm different because I have plenty of enforcers that I've been beating in for years, so I can go home and grab a new one that's or an old new one to put in the bag.
Right.
So.
If there's a disc that I know is a different stability in a certain plastic, then sometimes I'll try that out. Like for us this year, the Ballista Pro came out. The Opto, the blue ones were pretty overstable out of the box.
That's true.
Which was cool. And then the special edition ones were slightly less stable. Still good stability to start, but something that could hold straight a little bit longer. And so I carried both of those because I knew I could get that.
Well, the Gold Line
flight.
ones also that release TFRs are super domey.
Yeah, they're
so
awesome.
they're quite a bit more stable. So I actually do carry one of those.
They're good.
Next one comes from Chad. How much difference in stability is there between a criminal and a felon? I have a pretty beat-in Lucid criminal, and I love the current flight of it. I was wondering if a new felon would be similar to my criminal.
I think the Oakley ones are going to be similar. The Lucid X ones, stability-wise. The criminal for me was just so overstable.
Yeah, beef.
I throw a Lucid one, and I don't throw it very often because I just don't need it. I don't need that super overstable unless it's like windy or something. But for the most part, I'm more of a Felon guy just because I like the way it feels better, and I like the more consistent distance that I can get out of it.
Right.
Is what I'm looking for, as opposed to something that's just going to meat hook. So I think the criminal's a little bit more overstable than the Felon, for me at least. Now the prototype Felons and the Oakley Lucid X ones are extremely overstable, but they were also molded to be that way.
Right. If your criminal is pretty worked in, then a new Lucid Felon would probably be a similar stability.
Yeah.
They're still overstable for sure.
Of course.
But not just like, wow, I can't even throw that anywhere overstable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Next one is from Colby. He says, I'm a junior player who plans to move to advance this year, but I have a tendency to bend my back a lot when I throw. Typically, I only do this when I try to throw for distance. I know this is very bad. When trying to fix this problem, should I just try to rework my form by focusing on my back with smaller shots and work my way up? Or focus on the distance shots in particular, since my form tends to be in a lot better shape at shorter distances. Thanks, DeGam fam.
It's an interesting question.
Bends his back? Is that what he said?
I have a tendency to bend my back a lot when I
picture,
throw typically.
Is he like hunched over?
or super
Or
far
arched?
back?
I
I don't
only
know.
do this
Or
when I
both,
try to throw
like
for
twerking.
distance.
If you're twerking while throwing,
You may need to reconsider your form.
you're gonna want to rework that.
I tend to bend
Maybe.
my back.
I've never
a
seen
lot
it.
when I.
But you're probably extremely
Is he
popular
trying
on
to get?
the course.
Is he trying to get like?
I
Well, look at
guess
Nate Sexton. Look at Nate Sexton.
Yeah,
How,
I mean,
how
he-
much he hunches over when he throws his backhands.
he's got a pretty good backhand
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If it's something that you know is a problem, then I would go to the place that you do it the most. Like he said, he does it on distance shots.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd work on that.
I guess, is it a problem? Is it hurting?
Right.
Is it causing injuries?
Right. Or is it just a problem because somebody said, hey, that's a problem?
Yeah. Because if it's not, and it works for you, who cares?
Yeah, I
Go
mean,
for it.
a lot of people have forms that look quite different from one another that work. You know,
like Anthony.
Like what?
I'm sorry. What?
What?
Yep. Yeah. Anthony back from his extended holiday vacation.
Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Colby has another question. I recently switched from a power grip to solely a fan grip when throwing putters. Occasionally, when throwing a fan grip, my ring finger will catch the bottom of the bead and be a complete shank. I know this is something I'm doing, but it only happens when I try to throw hard. Would it be because I'm trying too hard to throw the disc and my fingers are catching, or should I use a power grip for harder shots and fan for shorter shots?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if your finger's catching, it's probably a grip issue.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm different than most people in this. I throw.
So do we.
Oh, jokes. I throw every putter and every mid-range with a fan grip. No,
With a power fan grip.
it's like a stacked fan
grip. Yeah.
It's not like a.
Like full on stack. It's not like
Yeah.
fanned out, and it's
Yeah.
not like power grip. But
Yeah,
it's
kind of like
it's
a medium, but
more of kind of like mine, more of a stacked grip.
there you go. It feels more fanned out because it's not like fingers straight up
Yes,
against the rim.
which is awful feeling to me.
Yeah, I don't like that very much. I do it on distance drivers.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Okay, good point. I do. Anyway, but if you're having trouble catching your fingers on there, then yeah, I think grip is the first thing that you try.
Yeah.
If you're throwing it with a fan grip and only when you're throwing it hard is when it's happening, and that's what it sounds like. Maybe you are grabbing down on the disc a little bit too hard, like you're gripping it harder than maybe you even need to.
Could be.
I don't think you need to grab it that hard, but without watching you throw, I can really tell you.
That it? All right.
That's it.
Let's see what we got on SpeakPipe. This is from Isaac.
Hello, this is Isaac from Iowa. I'm 14 years old and wanting to play in some more juniors tournaments. Knowing that most juniors don't score under par, should I my first round just go for pars and then after the second round go for more birdies if I'm behind? Or any other tips that you have? Also, for juniors tournaments, do I have to dress up or anything, or can I just wear my normal clothes? Thanks for all the advice you give, and my new favorite discs are the EMAC Truth, Maverick, and Trespass. Thank you.
All
Sweet,
excellent
man.
discs.
Thanks for calling in.
Excellent, Isaac.
What do you think about playing for par?
I think you're right. Most juniors at most events don't shoot well under par unless they're playing with Isaiah, who
Usually does shoot under par.
usually shoots way under par. Yeah. But I wouldn't change your game plan just based on the rest of the field. I would just come out and play your game. If you step up to a hole that you feel confident in birdieing, birdie it. I mean, with the only exception of if you've got a big lead or maybe you're killing it and there's some danger around the baskets and you don't feel as confident running for putts, then you can be laying up from outside the circle. But if you have an opportunity to get some birdies, get those birdies as much as you can. I wouldn't be relaxed on it. Just go out there and kill it.
Yeah.
Just go out there with that mindset. Don't change your game plan just because of how the rest of the field is playing.
I think I've heard a lot of people talk about it this way, and I'm not sure that this is the best strategy for everyone all the time, but I do think it's probably a good one for you. And that's that if you step up to a hold, you throw a drive as if you're playing for birdie. Unless there's danger close or anything like
an
that.
An island hole, something like
that.
Yeah.
Throw the drive that you would if you were trying to play for birdie, assuming that it doesn't bring too much danger into play, assuming that it's a high percentage drive for you. Mm-hmm. And then if it lands in a spot where you can go for birdie, go for birdie. That's great. And if it doesn't, don't push for it.
Yeah.
Don't make a crazy mistake. Don't try to run in a 100-footer or a 120-footer or something like that. Go 30 long, miss the putt, and now you've got bogey. Instead, just put it right under the basket, take your par, and that's fine.
Yeah, don't turn birdies into bogeys.
Definitely. So you don't want to play super aggressively to the point where you take par out of the equation. Yeah. I feel like pretty much every hole that I go to play on the courses that we play, on the tee, I'm thinking I want to birdie this hole, and I try to throw a drive accordingly. But if I throw a bad drive or just hit a tree or something like that, now I'm just thinking, all right, let's just get our par and move on. And so, yeah, I think that strategy is really important to not keep birdie in mind even when it should be out of the question.
Yep. And to answer your second question about what clothes you should wear at a tournament.
Yeah, good question.
I don't know what your normal clothes are every day, but just follow the PDGA guidelines as far as apparel goes. I personally like to wear a collared shirt during any tournament round, even if it's a B tier or C tier or something like that. I just like to look good, feel good, play good. So it's not necessarily a requirement at any event except majors and NTs to have a certain dress code, with the exception of you can't wear like tank tops and cutoffs and all that. But for the most part, you'll be fine with whatever you feel comfortable wearing.
Yeah.
All right, next one comes from...
This guy says that he steps up to the tee with ace in mind every time.
Nice.
That's good. Good play.
Nice. I do that too, especially when I play the country club.
Hey.
Austin says, hey, Disc Golf Answer Man, I was looking on eBay for used EMAC Truths. I came across some from the 2017 Midwest
Amateur tournament?
Midwest Championship that were labeled as Dynamic Disc Lucid EMAC Truth Disc Golf Disc Mid-Range.
Okay, sweet.
177 gram, truly unique.
Okay.
Speed 2.
Nope.
Glide 0, turn 1, fade 0.
It's the year of the event.
Huh?
It's the year that the event was played.
That's what he says. I understand that y'all are into the flight rating, but what is going on here? Can Eric shed any light on this disc or these numbers? Asking for a friend and myself, but mostly myself.
Yeah, that on some of those when they do like special runs or custom stamp discs, if you just take away the speed, glide, turn, fade, then it's just 2017. So that's what that is.
That's silly.
So it's the year.
Yeah, it's just the year that the tournament was run.
Yeah,
that's all.
There's not every EMAC Truth out there, especially tournament stamped discs or custom stamped discs, will not have flight numbers.
Yep, that's correct.
This is from Ove, O-V-E, Ove.
Probably Ova.
Ove.
Something like that.
Hey, Slick Daddy, Robert, and Eric. I have a question about short shots and where I often tend to get a lot of nose up.
Okay.
Got any tips for a rookie from Norway? Love everything you guys do for the sport. Lots of love from a snowy Norway. And that was about a month ago. So hopefully.
Danny just put out a video about this, actually.
It's probably still snowy in Norway right now.
I bet it is.
Yeah, he did just put one out. When you are throwing nose up on short shots, that's actually not the worst thing in the world. I like to throw putters slightly nose up for a couple of reasons, especially in the 150 foot, somewhere in that sort of range, because it's easier to control the speed and you're not worried about turning it over. Mm-hmm. Once the nose is down, it's more prone to turn to the right. But when the nose is up, it really doesn't want to move right hardly at all. Just kind of wants to go straight and then finish.
And
left.
we'll just check up.
Yep.
And not get a lot of skip.
Yeah,
well.
so
I putt everything nose up.
Yeah, for sure. I try to putt pretty close to level, but it ends up being a little nose up, and I'm good with that. So I don't think, unless it's extreme nose up to where it's fading out way before the basket, a slight nose up is not bad on approach shots.
Yeah, I agree.
Some people say I'm stuck up.
They do say that.
I walk around with my nose up.
Especially when you don't play with them casually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one is from...
I called Bobby during GBO, and he said he couldn't play. He's so stuck up.
This one's from Martin.
Martin.
Hey, guys. This is Martin from Atascadero, California. My question is, I'm a right-handed backhand thrower, and I broke my ring finger on my right hand, so instead of a power grip to drive, I was using my two fingers. And it seemed to get me more distance. I was wondering if now that the finger's healed, I should go back to the power grip or just stick with what works for me at this time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Good question. If it's working for you, I say keep doing it, but it doesn't hurt to try it both ways and see what you're getting more. I would assume if you add that extra couple fingers on there, you're going to get more accuracy out of the flight. So that's something to think about. If you're not having any issues with accuracy with the distance as well, then 2 fingers is just fine.
Yep. I've heard of people saying that they can get a little bit more distance using fewer fingers, and I think that has to do with just less points of contact for the disc to snag on, right?
Slow down coming out of the hand.
But I do think a lot of times they sacrifice accuracy for that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's worth trying both. See which one you like better.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last question. But if you're on YouTube and you got any questions, we will answer your YouTube questions. So submit them in the chat. So we'll try to get to them. This one's from. Do you know who it is, Eric?
Is it Bill?
Yep.
Yeah. What's up, Bill?
A long time ago, we would do that. I would say the next one is from, and he would try to guess, and he'd
always guess Bill.
This time it actually wasn't.
Hey, Bill.
Hello, Disc Golf Answer Gods. Wait. You say it. You ready? Ready? Say it.
Gods. Disc golf answer gods.
There you go. Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that. Can we take it back? Okay, go ahead.
So earlier this year, I went to buy a king for my local golf club. Normally, I throw discs in the 170 gram range, but all they had was a VIP Air at 156. My son talked me into buying it, and I can actually throw it backhand really well. I expected it to be a forehand disc for me. So now I'm wondering if I should replace some more of my distance drivers with lighter weight discs. What do you all think?
If you're getting good flights out of a lighter weight disc, I don't think it's worth. I don't think it's bad to try those out.
I wouldn't say go out and replace everything you got.
No, because you still. One thing that we know about lighter weight discs. Well, 2 things. They
are lighter.
They're lighter. Oh, dang it! He got
3 things.
Okay. Now we know 3 things. 1, they're lighter. No. Usually, lighter discs on backhands tend to go farther than max weight discs, but they are generally more affected by the wind. So if you went and switched out your entire bag for air discs or lightweight discs, you probably have a little bit of trouble in the wind, with the exception of like an Air Enforcer.
Even that, you'd still if it's big wind, you're still gonna
it's
still gonna have tendencies to turn over.
You're gonna get batted around for sure.
For sure. For sure.
So it is worth. I think it's worth trying some lighter weight stuff. If you can achieve straighter flights or longer flights, that's awesome. I would not switch out everything if it was me.
Yeah, I agree. 100% accurate.
Thank you, Bill.
They are lighter.
Thank you, Bill.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Bill. Happy New Year. All right, so what do we got on the board? We got anything yet? While we're waiting on questions, though, hopefully you guys have checked out the new some official rules from Disc Golf that the PDGA has put out. Okay. So, and we'll talk a little bit about these and see what your thoughts are. This one is, and they went specific on it. All of them they did, or just a few of them they were specific on? These are basically the changes that are happening.
Yeah, the top few are not super important to talk about, I don't think. No, I can hold on while this loads. Like the very first one, the drop zone, they said they're changing it to say you can play it in the same manner as a teeing area or the same manner as a marked lie. So like from one spot or from a wide area like a teeing area. So not too much different.
Okay.
Because that was always an option for you pretty much.
I got you.
And then the next one down, a player may move casual obstacles that are on or behind the lie. Now, I think this is kind of a good change. I'm worried about what people will do with it. A player may move casual obstacles that are partially or completely on the lie or in the stance area, regardless of whether they extend in front of or behind the lie.
Okay.
So if one very small portion of an obstacle is behind or on top of your lie, you can just move it out of the way.
Like a tree branch?
Has to be dead and unattached.
It has to be still has to be dead and unattached. That's what a casual obstacle would be. But
so what's the difference?
So previously, if part of it extended in front of your lie, you couldn't mess with it.
So like, so a tree branch dead, but it's arching over your disc. Previously you couldn't move it.
Right.
But now I can.
That's correct.
Because I could if it was behind it.
I think they're just clarifying that even if some of it extends in front of your lie, that's okay as long as it's as part of it is on or behind your lie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're just saying you can't move casual obstacles that are in front of your lie and none of it is on or behind your lie. Got it? That makes sense.
So what if it's a snake? It's not dead.
It's a live snake.
It's alive and unattached.
Right.
Well, you can move him.
Oh, because it's not attached.
Well,
What if he's connected to another snake? Okay.
That's not dead. That is dead and
somebody
attached.
caught the two. Somebody caught the two snakes, tied their tails
Right,
together.
together.
What do you do in that situation?
So what's the next
You
one?
run. You run away
Yeah,
very fast.
You
And you find that person and smack him.
What do they call that when you abandon? You abandon a throw.
yeah.
You're out of there. The next one says a throw is missed a mandatory if from the direction of the tee it crosses a mandatory line. Blah 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 blah. And
Yada,
it
yada,
says,
yada.
Yeah.
Yada, yada.
Well,
I mentioned
From
this.
Seinfeld. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man. And yada yada yada. Anyway, so this is just rewording this so that they say, because previously it just says the T on a Mando. You just go back and throw from the tee spot or direction of the tee. Now it's just from your previous lie, which is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, put that in layman's term.
All right, so you're throwing.
Explain it to me as if I was 3.
Yeah.
Okay, your parents give you $10 to start a lemonade stand.
No,
You
what's
only-
the one? What's
That's
the one
the
where-
surplus from the
Yeah,
office.
yeah.
No, but where's the one where he explains to me like I'm 8, and then he does it.
Yeah,
and he goes,
That's it.
Explain to
It's
me like I'm 5.
That's, yeah.
Okay, that's
Same
the same
episode.
one. Okay, sorry.
Very good. All right, you're playing a par 5. There's a Mando a long ways down the fairway, like way closer to the basket.
Okay.
So you throw your first shot, you throw your second shot. Now you're getting ready to throw your third. And if you miss the Mando from your third shot,
You have to go re-tee.
you got to go all the way back. No, what they're saying is from the direction of your lie, from where your lie was, if you miss the Mando, then like effectively they call that missing the Mando, but not from the direction of the tee. So say the tee was like way over to the right, and now you're trying to throw around the right side of something. It may be just a little bit different. So anyway, that's just to clarify. I kind of like this change. A player may choose to abandon a throw by declaring their intention of the group. They replace that to say may choose to abandon their most recent throw. Because I feel like there could be players who would read that rule and be like, well, this one throw is really the one that screwed me up. I'll just abandon that throw and go back and do so. I don't know. It'd be stupid. But just
Loopholes.
Yep. Clarifying. One about practice throws. I don't really think we need to go over that. I don't think we need to do that too much.
Why not?
And then
They just it's just not really worth talking about. I mean, it's wording really. Grouping and sectioning. I don't think.
well, this is the competition manual now. Changes.
But there's one. Hold on. Player misconduct. Here it is. Yeah, here's the one that I think people are gonna talk most about, and it was the substance abuse portion of it, right? So here it was in B number 8. Used to say the possession of substances in violation of federal, state, or local laws. These are things that could get you removed from an event. The use of marijuana is not permitted at PDGA events regardless of federal, state, or local laws, or the possession of a medical marijuana card. You replace that with up at the start here it says if a player violates the above standard, the tournament director may opt in their sole discretion to issue a tournament warning for first offense except as specified in subsection C below, and I think that's probably where they'll see some of the other things that we can't that we'll get to in a second. Otherwise, the tournament director will immediately disqualify the player. So they moved the marijuana portion down there. This says the following actions also violate the above standard. Players who commit one or more of these violations will not receive a warning and will be immediately disqualified by the tournament director. So cheating, physical attacks on anyone, public display or use of illegal or prohibited substances in violation of any applicable law, from the 2-minute warning to the time the player's scorecard is submitted. Same thing, public display or use of alcohol at PDGA events sanctioned B tier or higher, or of marijuana at PDGA events sanctioned at any tier level, even where otherwise lawful or permitted from the 2-minute warning to the time the player's scorecard is submitted. So it took out the part about just possession by itself would be enough to disqualify you from the event to public display or use. There it is. That's the big difference. And there was quite an uproar on Facebook about if you're just in possession of marijuana that people would say that they could DQ you from the event. Now, go ahead.
Because of this rule?
They changed the wording of the rule before.
Yeah.
So you could have done it before the rule.
No, you could not. Before the rule, you could have possessed it but not used it.
Yes.
Right? Then they changed it to say you can't even possess it.
Okay, so now that's the rule.
This is the third change.
Now the rule says public display or use.
Public display.
Public display.
Like, look at me.
Check it out. Or use is what can get you disqualified.
So what if I have the knowledge that you have something, but it's not being displayed?
If it's not publicly displayed or used, then there wouldn't be any.
No big deal.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. There it is.
There it is. If you guys want more information about this, go to pdga.com, and for right now, it's one of the main articles on there. But I'm sure you can kind of sort through the recent news and see if you want to get more detailed on the new rule changes and some of the ones that Robert kind of waffed over.
You won't be sad that we did.
No, you won't. I just wanted to use the word waff.
A bit of technical jargon here and there.
Cool. All right. What questions we got on the YouTubes?
Well, I was.
By the way, if you were listening, I see it says peak concurrent 199.
It says 202 right now.
Well, but it's got to say peak concurrent because concurrent means
same time,
same channel. So we'll see if we can get that 200 number.
Let's see. Does Lucid Moonshine beat in faster than the regular Lucid? I think Moonshine does tend to beat in a little bit faster. I'm not sure why, but it does. Left hand, backhand, but I throw baseballs with right hand, so it translates to never being able to throw sidearm. What can I do? Good question, Jason. I don't know. When I started playing disc golf, I didn't have a baseball or anything background, and I'm not a great forehand thrower. I'm not even sometimes really a good forehand thrower. I'm just kind of okay at it. But it's just learning a new set of muscle memory, really, just like learning a backhand is.
Someone said something about the course. I lost it. Any update on the course in Flower Mound, Texas?
I get this question daily, and I have no updates. They've got baskets. They've got everything. It's basically up to Flower Mound at this point when they want to put the course in the ground and officially open it. I know they plan on doing a soft opening at some point and then an official ribbon cutting sometime this spring. All I can say is keep an eye on the Facebook pages and everything, and that will be announced as soon as we know. I'm hoping sooner than later because I know that they've got majority, if not all, of the tee pads poured at this point. They have all baskets and tee signs in their possession, so soon.
Oh, there we go. Peak concurrent 202.
Nice.
All right, you guys answer a few more questions, and I'll grab a disc.
Okay, that sounds good. Brooks,
for your audio people, we'll figure out I'll do something different for you guys for another disc.
There you go. Brooks said, if you play an A tier and a C tier at the same course, do you get more points for the A tier? Brooks, yes, you do. Points are pretty much solely dependent on the tier of event that you're playing and the number of players in your field. You can, however, get more events if you outright win an A tier than if you get outright win a C tier than if you get last place at an A tier. But most of the time, you get more points for the A tier than you do the C tier.
Most of the time.
Almost all the time.
Almost every day.
Let's see. What are thoughts on Ricky leaving for Innova?
We wish him the best.
Yeah, wish him the best. Hope that he does well. Yeah, I mean, we were in talks with him throughout the end of the year, and he chose to go a different way, and that's that. So good luck. Hope it goes well.
I have a 2018 Trilogy Challenge musket. Do you guys remember the musket?
Yeah.
Can you describe it?
It is
briefly?
one of Thomas's favorite discs.
Oh yeah,
Thomas.
It's a driver. It's not a very wide rim driver.
It's like a fairway.
The fairway, is it a speed 9?
It's similar to fairway driver. I think it.
What is it?
like
musket?
Yeah,
musket is a 10. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. This is obviously as we've told you guys before, a slightly used that we used during one of our video productions. Probably one we used when we did the Is This Right For You Trilogy Challenge Edition. Could be, or maybe not. Maybe something that Danny or Anthony did some video work on. So I can actually see a few little.
It's basically new.
Yeah, pretty much new. Just a little bit of stuff.
And when we do these videos, it's typically in an open field. So
yeah, and we throw it maybe 12, 15 times. So anyway, so you can win this Trilogy Challenge musket. It is a
172.
175.
That was close.
Whoa, heavy.
175 Trilogy Challenge musket, the Latitude 64 driver for the 2018 Trilogy Challenge. What I need you to do is I need you to, I mean, the easiest way is take a picture, take a screenshot, and post it. Is that going on the screen or off the screen? There, now it's on the screen. Post it to Instagram. Yep, you got to be on Instagram. Sorry, guys. And tell everybody that you're watching Disc Golf Answer Man and you want to win this musket. You have until
Now.
That was it.
No, go ahead and do it. And
That was
I will.
good because
Before I leave for the day today, at 5, I'll go through and pick a winner. I might wait till tomorrow morning. That will
Tag
give you
or
guys a chance.
tag people.
Make sure you tag Dynamic Discs. Got to tag Dynamic Discs. You got to be a follower of Dynamic Discs on Instagram.
Yeah, you can tag us if you'd like as well.
And follow us too.
Yeah, tag Uncle Bobby Jr.
Uncle Bobby Jr.
Eric _McCabe.
And
J. Robert McCall.
got to tag all 3 of us, all 4 of us. And
Trying to get that 20K.
Come on.
Got to get that.
I'm not even a 10K. I'm not even a 5.
I'm not even a K.
I'm close to 5,000, I think.
I'm not sure on that on Instagram.
I'm at 19.
I do a lot of
9.
I don't do a lot of disc golf stuff. Of course, it's been disc golf season in a while.
19.9.
You got questions?
I'm at 49.54. All right, let's see.
When I throw,
go ahead.
When I throw forehand, do I cross step to generate power similar to a backhand throw? However, I've not noticed any pro players using this method. Is this a bad technique?
I missed the first part of it.
When I throw forehand, I do cross step to generate power similar to a backhand throw.
Oh, I see. No, some people do that. I prefer to kind of shuffle my feet instead of do an X step, just because I don't want to turn my body away too much with a forehand. Like I'm already facing sideways, so I don't know. That's just personal preference.
Yeah, I don't do it either. I actually prefer to just throw turnovers.
Yep. There you go. Jonah says, best advice to a casual amateur player who wants to take the next step in their game and start competing at the pro level besides just practice. Just start playing as many local tourneys as possible. Yeah, you have to start somewhere, Jonah. The more of those that you play, the more tournament experience that you get, and that's going to help you to score well once you go to those bigger tournaments.
I'm going to challenge you on even a deeper level.
Ooh.
I want you to find some disc golf events that are happening in your area. Find your local disc golf community. I want you to volunteer.
Ooh.
I want you to serve in your disc golf community. If you want to make it, if you want to make an impact as a pro player and an impact in your disc golf community, don't just think about what you can do, what disc golf can do for you. Think about what you can do for disc golf.
And don't just sit back and critique everything that people are doing without stepping up and offering some help.
Get your hands dirty. Get in there, and that way you have a better understanding so that when you do become pro big time, you have a better understanding of everything that's involved when it comes to running a disc golf tournament. Boom, you've been challenged.
Boom. Drew said, is it just cold weather plastic that doesn't mold mid-ranges well, or is it all softer plastics? What's the softest plastic you can make mid-ranges in? We've currently got Blend Emax out there.
Ooh,
hey.
I have those. They will be for sale soon.
Yeah. What didn't they? The Pocono Raceway had
a small number of them.
Yeah.
I've got. I'll tell you. I've got 400 of them, and I'm releasing them in 4 different times.
Sweet.
100 at a time with different stamps. So.
I think they could be made in soft, but I'm not sure about that.
I think it's too inconsistent to be running soft.
Will said something about we didn't talk about Torchy's Taco, and he's headed to go get some.
Yeah. What the heck? It's 2019, and I still haven't had free Torchies.
You keep wimping out.
Do you even care? Okay, first of all, I do not keep wimping out. My question to you is, do you even care about upholding your end of the deal?
When are we going to go? When are we supposed to go?
Right now.
Probably Waco is going to be our realistic next time.
We could go to Tulsa, but it's been like terrible weather.
Well, yeah, it's been like 3 hours, and we're not going to go play disc golf.
Do you like how
it's warmer down there,
in it?
Yeah.
But
Tulsa?
If we go to Tulsa, we can go play Blackhawk in the woods. So it won't, even if it's windy,
I know it's like a
it'll be
4-hour
warmer.
drive, and then
it's only 3.
Is it really 4 hours?
Yeah,
It's not
about
4.
3.
It's Blackhawk. Blackhawk's up north.
Dude,
that's true.
I would eat Torchies right now so hard. What is it? 3:30? Yep, still time for Torchies.
The Tulsa one, the fryer was broken when we went.
Oh,
Did
really?
you sue?
I felt like suing them.
I'd have been very upset. 100%.
No
Couldn't
kidding.
believe it.
What else we got?
When is the PDGA rating challenge coming, Bobby? Matthew, I was actually working on a form trying to figure out how to get people to do that. I think I still got a little time because, the actual big season hasn't really started yet. So we'll get that going here pretty quickly. It won't be in the next week or so because I am going out of town on vacation.
Yeah, when do you leave?
The 5th of January.
Dude.
And I know.
Soon.
Yeah. And we'll not return until the 12th.
I'm going to.
It's going to be so
I'm also going
nice
to.
and warm.
Do they have torchies down there?
No, but they have.
They're
some
already starting to come
home
in.
Cooking.
Boom, boom, boom.
Kevin Berry on here says, "Who is Robert?" LOL.
Oh, that's Robert McCall right there.
Is that like?
That's Robert as well. Right
is this
over
an
here.
existential question?
Robert L. Brown Jr.
I'm surrounded by Roberts.
How I became Robert was from I'm just kidding. I work here and I direct our 3 teams that we oversee. There it is. And I'm on Team Warden and also Team Dang It. I don't say it on purpose, but when we go do videos, a lot of times I say Dang It. So there it is.
If Bobby was truly a man of honor, he would take your order, drive to Torchies, and bring it back for you the next TGA.
Chaser, you know that I think that's correct.
You were just in Oklahoma.
Yeah, what the heck, dude?
And I went to Torchies with my daughter.
Oh, yeah,
my
really
oldest
cool.
daughter.
No,
that was when the fryer was broken.
To be fair, though, like
We've got to all enjoy it together.
Yeah, we need to just go together.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end it right here. Thank you so much for
available.
sending in your questions. Appreciate everything you guys do. Remember, if you got a snapshot of that musket, make sure you post it to Instagram. Tag Uncle Bobby Jr. That's Uncle Bobby Jr. Tag Eric_McCabe. Tag
J. Robert McCall.
J. Robert McCall. And tag Dynamic Discs. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. 2019 is going to be amazing. So hold on because the ride is going to be awesome.
For those of you who are like, hey, why J. Robert McCall? Robert McCall is taken. And it makes me mad because the guy who has it
doesn't do anything with it.
No.
Why didn't you do Robert_McCall?
I tried that too. I promise I've tried all the ways that you could do it that didn't include my first initial. But if you just look past that, it looks like it's just Robert McCall. So think about it.
All right. Thanks, guys. We're out.